The invisible chains. Imagine waking up to the same piercing alarm, the same rushed morning, the same commute through a sea of faces, all blurring into one. You pour coffee, check your phone, and step into the rhythm of a life that feels like yours. But is it? Day after day, the cycle repeats. Work, consume, sleep, repeat. You tell yourself this is freedom, the life you chose. But what if the choices you make are not entirely your own? What if you're bound by chains you cannot see? Chains forged not of iron, but of ideas, habits, and systems so ingrained they've become invisible. Are you truly free, or are you a slave without knowing it? This is not a question of physical captivity. The slavery of today doesn't look like the shackles of the past. It's subtler, more insidious, woven into the fabric of our daily lives. Think back to the serfs of medieval Europe, toiling for lords under the illusion that their labor secured their place in a divine order. They didn't see their chains either, not because they weren't there, but because they were taught to accept them as life itself. Today, we navigate a world where the mechanisms of control have evolved, but their purpose remains: to keep us compliant, predictable, and tethered to systems we rarely question. What are these systems? How do they shape our thoughts, our desires, our very sense of self? This is not a conspiracy spun in shadows, but a reality hiding in plain sight. From the moment you were born, forces have worked to mold you through culture, media, education, and even your own ambitions. They tell you what to want, how to live, and who to be. And the most unsettling part? You might not even notice. This video is a journey into those invisible chains. We'll uncover their historical roots, dissect the psychology that makes them so effective, and expose how they manifest in our modern world. By the end, you won't just see the world differently, you'll see yourself differently. The question is, are you ready to confront the forces that bind you? Let's begin. The historical roots of control. Picture a bustling Roman marketplace 2,000 years ago. The air hums with voices, the scent of bread wafts from carts, and a crowd gathers to cheer at gladiatorial spectacles. The masses are fed, entertained, and pacified, a strategy the Romans called bread and circuses. But beneath the revelry lies a calculated truth. The empire's rulers knew that a distracted, sated population was easier to control. The games weren't just entertainment. They were a leash, keeping the people from questioning the power that governed their lives. This wasn't freedom. It was a gilded cage. Rewind further to ancient Mesopotamia, where priests wielded divine authority to enforce obedience. Or fast forward to medieval Europe, where serfs toiled under the weight of feudal lords, told their suffering was God's will. In each era, the tools of control varied: religion, labor, spectacle, but the goal remained the same: to ensure the many served the few. These systems weren't accidents. They were designed to shape minds, to make submission feel natural, even noble. The serf didn't dream of rebellion, he dreamed of a better harvest. The Roman citizen didn't question the emperor, he cheered for the next chariot race. Consider Plato's allegory of the cave, written centuries before Rome's fall. Prisoners chained in a dark cave, watching shadows on a wall, believe those shadows are reality. When one escapes and discovers the outside world, he's blinded by the truth and mocked by those still chained. Plato's story wasn't just philosophy, it was a warning about the human condition. We cling to the familiar, even when it binds us, because the truth is uncomfortable. The rulers of history understood this. They crafted illusions, whether through divine mandates or grand spectacles, to keep populations tethered to a reality that served the powerful. But here's the unsettling question. Have these mechanisms vanished, or have they merely changed form? The feudal lord is gone, but what about the systems that dictate your time, your desires, your very identity? The Roman circus has faded, but what fills its place in our lives? As we move forward, we'll see that the chains of the past haven't broken. They've evolved, becoming so subtle we mistake them for freedom. The past isn't just history, it's a mirror reflecting the forces that still shape us today. The psychology of invisible slavery. You felt it before, that quiet unease when you scroll through social media, seeing lives that seem better, brighter, more successful than yours. You chase the next purchase, the next promotion, the next milestone, believing it will make you whole. But the moment you get it, the satisfaction fades and a new goal takes its place. This is no accident. It's the hedonic treadmill, a psychological trap that keeps you running toward desires that never truly fulfill. And the most chilling part? You're not the one setting the pace. Our minds are shaped by invisible forces, mechanisms so subtle they feel like second nature. Take cognitive dissonance, the discomfort you feel when your actions clash with your beliefs. You might sense something's wrong with working endless hours for a life you don't love, but society tells you this is success, so you push the doubt aside, convincing yourself it's just how things are. Psychologist Carl Jung once warned that people don't see their own chains when they're conditioned to embrace them. We're taught to want what keeps us bound, status, wealth, approval, and we call it ambition. Consider social conditioning. From childhood, you're molded by family, schools, media. You're told what's normal: get a job, buy a house, follow the script. Deviate, and you risk judgment, rejection, even failure. Daniel Kahneman, a pioneer in behavioral economics, showed how humans are wired to avoid loss over seeking gain. Fear of stepping outside the norm, fear of losing security or belonging, keeps you tethered like a puppet on strings, moving to someone else's rhythm. And who pulls those strings? The systems that profit from your compliance. Desire and fear are the twin engines of this invisible slavery. Advertisements don't sell products, they sell dreams, exploiting your longing for a better life. Fear of poverty, of being left behind, drives you to conform, to work harder, to consume more. Freud saw this as the tension between our instincts and society's demands, a battle most of us lose without realizing we're fighting. These psychological traps aren't new. They're modern versions of ancient controls, refined to keep you chasing shadows. But what happens when you see the strings for what they are? That's where we're headed next. Modern systems of enslavement. You walk into a store, and a brightly lit display screams your name. That new phone, that sleek car, that perfect vacation. It's not just a product. It's a promise of happiness, status, a better you. But when you swipe your card, you're not just buying, you're binding yourself. The average person carries thousands in debt, working years to pay for things they were told they needed. This is no coincidence. Consumerism isn't freedom, it's a chain, forged by a system that thrives on your endless wanting. Welcome to the modern machinery of control, where the tools of enslavement hide in plain sight. Advertising doesn't just sell, it manipulates, exploiting the desires and fears wired into your psyche. Billions are spent studying your habits, crafting ads that feel personal, urgent, irresistible. Social media takes it further, curating your reality. Algorithms feed you content that reinforces your beliefs, keeping you in an echo chamber where questioning the system feels like betrayal. Influencer culture sells you an unattainable ideal, and you chase it, unaware that the game is rigged to keep you dissatisfied. Then there's work. The gig economy promises flexibility, but for millions, it's a treadmill of precarious jobs, low pay, and no security. You're told to hustle, to be your own boss, but the platforms you work for dictate your every move. Michel Foucault warned of a world where surveillance is constant, not just cameras, but apps tracking your productivity, your location, your life. You're watched, measured, controlled, all under the guise of empowerment. And debt? It's the modern whip, ensuring you stay in line. Miss a payment, and the system tightens its grip. Karl Marx saw labor as a battlefield where the workers' time and energy are extracted for the benefit of the few. Today, that extraction is subtler, but no less real. You're not forced to work. You're conditioned to want it, to see it as identity, purpose, success. These systems, consumerism, media, work, are interconnected, designed to keep you compliant, distracted, and dependent. The question is, do you see the cage, or do you still call it freedom? Next, we'll unravel the illusion that keeps these chains in place. The illusion of freedom. Picture yourself at a crossroads. You're choosing your career, maybe a lawyer, a teacher, or an entrepreneur. You weigh your options, follow your passion, and call it freedom. But pause for a moment. Did you choose this path, or was it laid out for you? Your parents praised certain jobs, your school pushed specific paths, and society dangled rewards for conformity. The options felt endless, but were they? What if the freedom you cherish is an illusion, a carefully crafted stage where every choice is shaped by forces you barely notice? This is the paradox of modern life. We're told we're free, yet our choices are constrained by invisible walls. Economic realities limit what you can afford to pursue. Social pressures dictate what's acceptable to want. Algorithms, those silent puppeteers, curate your world. From the ads you see to the ideas you encounter, personalized feeds on social media don't expand your horizons. They narrow them, trapping you in echo chambers that reinforce what you already believe. You choose your politics, your style, your dreams, but how much of that choice is truly yours? Jean-Paul Sartre, the existentialist philosopher, argued that true freedom is terrifying because it demands taking full responsibility for your life. Most of us avoid this burden, clinging to the comfort of preset paths. Albert Camus saw life as an absurd struggle where meaning is ours to create, yet we're seduced by systems that offer ready-made answers. These thinkers remind us that freedom isn't just about options, it's about seeing through the illusions that limit them. Every click, every purchase, every like you give feeds a machine that predicts and shapes your next move. The suspense lies in this question. Are you choosing your life, or is it being chosen for you? The systems we've explored, consumerism, media, work, thrive on this illusion, making you feel empowered while guiding your every step. But seeing the illusion is the first step to breaking free. As we move to our conclusion, we'll explore what it means to reclaim your agency and step beyond the stage. Breaking the chains. Let's return to that morning. The alarm blares, the coffee brews, the commute looms. But this time, something's different. You pause, look at your phone, and question the endless scroll. You feel the weight of the cycle. Work, consume, repeat, and for the first time, you see it for what it is, a chain, not a choice. This awareness, this moment of clarity, is where liberation begins. Breaking free from invisible slavery isn't easy. It's a battle against systems designed to keep you bound. But it's possible, and it starts with seeing the truth. The systems we've explored, historical, psychological, modern, are powerful, but they're not invincible. Awareness is your first weapon. Question the media you consume. Who benefits from the narratives you're fed? Challenge your desires. Are they yours, or were they planted by a world that profits from your discontent? Friedrich Nietzsche urged us to become overmen, to create our own values beyond society's scripts. Yuval Noah Harari reminds us that the stories we live by, money, status, success, are fictions we can rewrite. Start small, reduce consumption, seek authentic connections, prioritize time over money. These aren't rules, they're choices, real ones, made with eyes open. Freedom isn't a destination, it's a practice. Every step you take, every moment you choose intention over autopilot, weakens the chains. The world will resist, tempting you with comfort, fear, or distraction. But you're not the serf who accepts his lot, nor the Roman citizen lost in the circus. You're awake, and that's enough to begin. So as you face tomorrow's alarm, ask yourself, will you follow the script or will you write your own? The choice, perhaps the first true one, is yours.